All right, our next speaker is Robert Houle. Robert Houle, is a member of the Sandy Bay First Nation, Manitoba, is a contemporary Anishnabe Saulteaux scholar, curator, and artist who has been exhibiting internationally since the early 1970s. So welcome, Robert Houle.
I would like to thank Kathleen and David for asking me to be part of this symposium, Seizing the Sky, Rethinking American Art. And Kay, how nice to see you. And congratulations on your marriage. I'm privileged to have the opportunity to say a few words about the art of Kay WalkingStick. She and I first met around 1983. I'm not sure, but I think it's 1983. I'm getting old. When we exhibited together with other artists in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Kay WalkingStick has taken abstract painting to new levels. Abstract painting, a white, male, middle-class bastion of Platonic sensibility. As a painter, coming from a strong matrilineal culture of a people who considered their creation the principal people of this land, this was extraordinary. Today, I would like to focus on 4 works, one of which has just found out through Kay earlier, just before the symposium. One of the paintings, the last one that I'm going to show, is not in the exhibit. I was originally going to have 5 works as well, and there is one that is missing as well. It was April High Water. It's published in the catalog, so I won't be talking about that as well. So I'm been denied 2 paintings to really to talk about. My topic is, as you can see, the presence and place on the land. I will try to live up to that. The mighty and the noble Cherokee viewed their lands as the center of the earth. They adopted and established in July 1827 at Ekota, their ancient capital, a constitution which acknowledged with humility and gratitude the goodness of the sovereign rule of the universe. As Amerindians, our presence, our creation is here, on these lands of the Western Hemisphere. Our place on this land is from the Canadian Arctic to the Peruvian Pampas. Since the Ice Age, 10,000 years ago. Land is a culture, a spirit, and a political statement. You've seen this several times today. I will not talk about Kay's work from art historical perspectives. I did study that in undergraduate, got a degree in it, but as a painter, I wouldn't really want to put myself in that position, and I certainly wouldn't. It would be most appropriate for me to talk about her work with sexuality annotations to it. But this work here is probably for me one of the most important works. Like every artist in their lives, in their careers, create a body of work that actually is enigmatic, and it actually pulls together, whether it's early in their career or middle career or later in life, they will have left a body of work or a work that actually stands really for a lot. It will encompass everything they may have wanted to express in their creative life. This work, the Chief Joseph series, I see it as a homage to a magnificent, noble warrior leader. The pictorial language of painting can be a vehicle to decolonizing yourself as an artist, for an artist. The history of this land is one of great multiplicity of nations and cultures and histories. It is the story of our people, their glory and their pain. The abstract art of Kay has a subjective quality. Its surfaces have many variables which may retain or reject space. It has a narrative that speaks of 4,000 silent graves from the roundups and the removal. March 26, 1839. Geometric forms and linear markings. Paint removed, paint revealed. Immateriality as its tautology. This work recalls, for me, Newman's Stations of the Cross. The Abyss. This is about the time that I first got to really seriously look at Faye's work. Before that, I was just totally infatuated by her when we first met. But I came to New York. I was making a studio visit to several Native American and First Nations artists, and I went to visit her in Englewood, I think. And she had just gone through a great loss, and I'm privy to it. And this painting really, really struck me. And I borrowed it for the National Gallery Land, Spirit, Power exhibition. And subsequently, Kay has a beautiful piece at the National Gallery as well that was purchased from that exhibition. The place in nature, a metaphysical space with grief, layers of pain taken away, like the way a shaman takes your pain in order to heal you. Ritualistic gesture of intimacy, a philosophical position, consonant with a worldview governed by an essentialist philosophy and practice, tension produced as a way of making a transcendental, absolute appear materially. The abyss, metaphysical constructs of land, directed by a long-term memory of place. A quality of momentariness, presence. The red coloration of the abyss passionately depicts raw images of the land with gestural organicity. I was fascinated with this piece, the texture, the paint, the physicality of it all. Painting becomes materiality, not just literally, metaphysically, spiritually. Painting, a personal system of locators. The result is an alluring surface, evocative, angst, controlled aggression, passionate execution, layers of history, layers of color, layers of materials, defiantly confident, confidently resolved. Wallola Mountain Memory. Alas, it's not in the exhibition, but it's in the catalog. Cosmology where mnemonic imprints view land as the center. A pre-Renaissance pictorial rendition of a visual experience. A romance with landscape. A love of Italy. Kay's spiritual intervention refuses the Western notion of landscape, occupies either a visual experience of a place or a Christian metaphor for one's relationship with God, or one's traditional knowledge of our presence in nature as a witness to our Creator. I'm sorry I am brief. I will conclude my remarks now. The tension Kay WalkingStick creates by combining naturalistic and non-objective modes of painting makes her work at once materially dose and conceptually lucid, aggressive and calm, disappearing and resurrectional, density, opacity, luminosity, lucidity is constructed into the history of each work. Realized through the use of contemporary conceptual constructs and a multiplicity of materials which had originally been racially parenthesized by the supremacy, an ideology, if you will, of Western art. There is that defiance in the idea that all creativity of value must be of European providence, and the notion that her art appears fresher and urgent due to the so-called bankruptcy of contemporary art is subversive and patronizing. These arguments are demeaning and dysfunctional agents to self-image. Kay WalkingStick, through her art, has decolonized Europe's invention of America. I thank her for having allowed me into her artistic life. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kay. Sure.
Don't go far. Thank you, Robert.